So today we are going to start the relationship between open and closed loop pole for second order system. In the previous class we have done this relationship for a first order system. Now today we are going to discuss it for a second order system. Now here I am going to take a second order system like K. Suppose it is K by S into S plus A. Okay. Initially in the previous day we have taken a first order system and we have observed that the DC gain was actually coming when we are going for we want to trace the closed loop pole path. This DC gain was coming. So here today we are also going to know it for a second order system too. So this is a feed forward transfer function. Suppose this is feed forward transfer function. Look, the S plus A and into S, that means there is a open loop pole as it is a the system is feed forward transfer function, means suppose this is my GS. Okay, this is my GS. So this is actually put in a closed loop. Okay, so this is the input RS, this is the error signal ES, this is the output CS, and then the CS is feeding back to this comparator. So now the system is having a closed loop having H is equal to 1. So what is feed forward transfer function GS here? GS equal to K by S into S plus A. Okay. And what is HS? HS equal to 1. So what is closed loop poles? What is open loop poles? Open loop pole means GS into HS. We have discussed in our previous class. GS into HS, this is called open loop pole. So GS into HS, what is the open loop transfer function? The open loop transfer function is GS into HS. So it will be K into S plus A. So the denominator of this open loop transfer function gives us open loop pole. Open loop pole. So what are the open loop poles? 2 open loop poles. 2 open loop pole kota. How many? 2 open loop poles. One is at S equal to 0. That means one is at origin and another one is at S equal to minus A. Okay, so these two are our open loop poles. Okay, so these two are our open loop poles. Now, how to get the closed loop pole? We know if we take the closed loop transfer function of this system, it will be TS. Suppose it is TS, and TS will be, the transfer function will be GS upon 1 plus GS into HS. Now what is HS? HS is 1 here. Okay. So the transfer function is becoming K by S into S plus A divided by 1 plus K by S into S plus A. So now if I simplify this, I am getting K by S square plus AS plus K. Okay. So I am getting that this is my new denominator of the closed loop transfer function. So the closed loop transfer function, how will I get? I have to factorize this and I can get the get the poles. Okay, or we also know that these denominator part is having another name, that is called characteristic equation, And what is the general form of characteristic equation? It is 1 plus GS into HS equal to 0. This is called characteristic equation. Okay. Now here, so this characteristic equation, if we equate it, then we will get the roots or closed loop poles. So how can we get the closed loop pole from here? So it will be equating S square plus AS plus K equal to 0. Okay. So now to get the poles, we have to equate this equation to 0. So 2 poles we will get. From the Sridhar-Acharya method, we know we can able to write it as minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4 into a into c by twice a. So this will be minus a by 2 plus minus
मैम रूट ओवर रूट ओवर
yes, minus b plus minus root over b square minus, right, yes, b square minus 4ac by 2. So this will be the Sridhar-Acharya. Okay. So it will be, then we can write that it will be my a square by 4. Okay. Minus k under root. I can write it this way. So now what we are getting, it was our open loop poles. In our open loop poles, there was no presence of k. But in case of our closed loop poles, in the calculation of closed loop poles, we are getting that the gain factor, what is k? This k is the gain factor. This gain factor is coming. Now as it is a gain factor, you know gain factor is a variable thing. You can able to, if you change the gain equal to 2, it will have a certain value. If you change, you may have that the system is having a certain you need to put the gain more, so the system can able to suppose I mean the system required the gain, okay, and so that it can achieve the desired output, you need to, it may be happen that you need to change the gain. It may happen. So that means this gain is not a constant thing, and if this value, this gain factor is not a constant thing, you can able to understand that if the gain factor is changed, the value of closed loop poles will be changed. The open loop poles are fixed because they are fixed parameters. Okay, there is no variable associated with that. But when we are calculating these characteristic equation, as the k is coming and k is a variable factor, as it is a gain factor or DC gain, we know depending upon system we can able to vary the DC gain. So this DC gain, as it is varying, naturally depending upon the value of k, the closed loop pole values may change. Okay, so just look here, suppose this is the open loop pole. So initially I am trying to draw this part. Just initially the open loop pole, suppose my system is like this. This is S plane. Okay, this is the S plane. So this is the right hand side of the S plane and this is the left hand side of the S plane. Now as per this, I am getting that the loop is, okay, this is my sigma, that is the real, and this is j omega plane. Okay, now where are my closed loop, open loop poles? The open loop poles, suppose it was at 0, s equal to 0, that means it will be at here, at 0, at s equal to 0, and s equal to minus a, suppose minus a is here. So these were two open loop poles. Okay, Now what is going to happen? Suppose the value of k was initially, suppose this value was 0. So when the value was 0, we can able to see that what the value we are getting, k is 0. That means this is a by 2. Okay, so this is becoming a by 2. Now if this a by 2, suppose I am taking it, suppose k equal to 0. So what is the value of the poles we are getting? S1 and 2. K is 0. So this is a minus a by 2 plus minus a by 2. Okay. So that means two values will be when they are when this value is plus, it will be 0, and otherwise it will be minus a. So that means when k is 0, the value is absolutely same, just like open loop poles. So these are the value of open loop poles when the value of k is 0. Now consider this value of k lies is greater than, I am increasing the value of k. And it is now greater than 0, and suppose it is less than a square by 4. It is less than equal to a square by 4. So what is going to happen now? This is, if it is a square by 4, that means this part will be neglected. So the poles will be now minus a by 2. So the poles, when the value it is a square by 4, this part will be 0, and the poles will be minus a by 2 and minus a by 2. That means you can able to understand that suppose the value of k was initially, the value of k was initially 0, and you have increased the value of k. Then suppose there is a gain value, you have increased the gain value from 0 to suppose a certain value. Now whenever you are increasing the value, what is going to happen? The value of the poles of the system, that is the closed loop poles, are now changing. Initially for the k equal to 0, the value was this, and when you increase the value of k, these pole positions are now come to here. If this is minus a, this must be minus a by 2. That means this pole, it was its initial position. So it has traversed this way towards back, and this pole is traversed this way, in this way, and they have, when it is equal to a square by 4, whenever you have just changed the value of 0, they have started traversing towards each other, and when it is becoming a square by 4, then they are actually reached at the same position, that is equal to minus a by 2. Understood? This part you understood, or I have to repeat?
Repeat, ma'am, please.
Repeat. Okay. What I am telling, that the value when initially it is a gain factor. Now what is a gain? We actually taking a variable gain. Suppose I am starting the gain from 0. When it was 0, I am getting the value at 0 and minus a. Now I tend to increase the value of k, and I stopped at the value at a square by 4. Now if I calculate, I am getting that the pole positions are now changed. The pole positions are now changed, and that values are becoming at minus a by 2. That means the contribution of k is actually changing the pole positions. How the pole positions are changing?
Yes,
That means when I have started from 0, this pole is coming here. Suppose this pole is coming here, and this pole, a pole at 0 is coming suppose at here. Now when I change the value, suppose initially I change the value, a intermediate value between 0 and a square by 2, second intermediate value. Then these point come to here and these point come to here. In this way, when I get the value equal to a square by 4, I find that the poles are gathered at the same place. What is that place? That place is minus a by 2. So that means these poles are actually walking towards each other whenever I am trying to change the value of the DC gain. Understood up to this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is, third is, now the thing is that I will take the value of k now greater than a square by 4. Okay, I would like to take the value, it is okay fine, I am going to take the value greater than a square by 4. Okay, and if I take the value k greater than a square by 4, you can understand that this part is becoming imaginary. This part is becoming imaginary. That means what will be the value? The real part will be minus a by 2, but the value of k is, the more big the value of k is, this part is actually going in the greater side of a imaginary axis. That means this part is becoming j. Okay, because a square by 4 minus k, when k is greater than a square by 4, you can able to understand that this value is actually minus of this is coming. So minus of 1 means basically j. So that means j is coming. So whenever the value of k is greater than a square by 4, we are getting that the two poles, one pole will going towards this imaginary axis, having the real part minus a by 2, one will going towards this way and another will, one is going towards this way and another is going towards this way. Okay, so the more the value of k, they will be drifted apart from each other, but not in real axis. The real part will be same. The imaginary value, that means the j omega value, will change depending upon the magnitude of the k. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what we can from here, what we can conclude, that if we change the DC gain value, we will get that the closed loop pole positions will vary, and in this way the closed loop pole will trace a path. That path will be known as closed loop pole locus or root locus. Okay, so in this way, this is basically the root locus. Now, as the system will be not first order or second order, it will be very tedious for us if we want to draw the root locus in this way. So we need a generalized way to understand the root locus. Okay, that is basically by Evans condition. We know that every in linear control system, the very important part is that all the stability depends on the pole position of closed loop pole position in the left hand side and the characteristic equation. That thing is fixed. Okay, so each and every stability you think about in the way the tools you think about in linear control system, frequency response, whatever you can say, frequency response, or whatever, what type of stability analysis you do, this is the primary condition. Which is the primary condition? The characteristic equation. Okay, so what is the characteristic equation? 1 plus GS into HS equal to 0. This is our characteristic equation. Now what this characteristic equation mean? This mean GS into HS, that means the open loop transfer function. This is the open loop transfer function. It is equal to minus 1. This means this. Now this, what is S? S is actually a complex thing. S-plane is a complex plane because it is having a real part and a imaginary part. That means S is equal to sigma plus j omega. So S is a complex plane. Now in complex plane, we know a point can be expressed in two ways. In this way I have written, it is called Cartesian coordinate, and another is called polar coordinate. In case of polar coordinate, it will be sigma square plus omega square at an angle tan inverse omega by sigma. This is polar form. In polar form, we get the magnitude and the argument or the angle. Okay, and in Cartesian form, we get the x-axis distance as well as the y-axis distance. That means the sigma distance, the real axis distance, plus j omega, that means the imaginary axis distance. So these two forms. So if I want to write, as S is a complex plane, naturally GS HS will also be a complex plane. So if I write this GSHS, I can write it in a, if I write it in a Cartesian way, I can write it as minus 1 plus J0. So what is minus 1? Suppose this is my GSHS plane. GS, this is S plane, this is my GSHS plane. Okay, GSHS plane is also having a real and the imaginary part. Now minus 1 means this, minus 1 means here this is the real axis, this is the imaginary axis, this is minus 1. Minus 1 means the imaginary value is 0, that means J is 0. So I can write in Cartesian way, I can write it in minus 1 plus J0. If I want to write it in polar form, if I want to write it in polar way, what I have to write? The magnitude and the angle. Okay, the magnitude and the angle. So what is the magnitude? The magnitude is 1. So if I write it in a polar way, it will be the mod value, magnitude will be 1. And what will be the angle of GSHS? The angle of GSHS, look, what is this axis? We know this axis is 0 degree, this axis is 90 degree, this axis is 180 degree, this is 270 degree axis. In this way, similarly, this is 360 degree and this is 450 degree and this is 540 degree. In this way we can assume. Here I am going in a anti-clockwise direction. Now if I go for a clockwise direction, what is going to happen? If I go for a clockwise direction, this is 0 degree. Okay. Next, this will be minus 90 degree. The clockwise direction is actually given as a minus angle. Okay, so minus 90 degree, this axis will be minus 180 degree and this axis will be minus 270 degree, this will be again minus 360 degree and so on. In this way it will The clockwise angle, how can we understand it is actually clockwise rotation? If it is giving a minus sign, and we will understand which segment, which quadrant is actually giving us which angle. Okay, so my pole is here. So if I go for this, if I want to give a generalized angle of this axis, so what are they? It is plus 180 degree as well as minus 180 degree. It is plus 540 degree. Now if I turn it in this way, this is minus 360, then it will be minus 450 degree, and then it is also minus 540 degree too. So that means this axis is actually plus minus of same number. Now what are those number? 180, 540. Now if I want to write it in a general way, how can I write? How can I write these axis, and how can I write these axis? This is 0 degree axis, 360 degree axis, plus as well as minus. Now if I want to write this expression, the generalized expression of these angles, I can write in this way. Look, 2q into 180 degree plus minus, where value of q equal to 0, 1, 2, ... So if you put value of 0, q equal to 0, it will be 0. If q equal to 1, it will be 360 degree. If q equal to 2, it will be 720 degree, in this way. Okay, similarly if we want to get this axis, it will be, the expression will be plus minus 2q plus 1 into 180 degree. Okay, so that means when q equal to 0, that means it is plus or minus 180 degree. If the value of q equal to 1, that means it is equal to 540. Similarly, if it is 2, it will again having a value. Okay, so if I want to express this line, this plus minus 180 degree line, the generalized value expression will be 2 plus minus 2q plus 1 into 180 degree. Okay, so these two, this is called the angle criteria. That means, so what actually it is telling us? We know we are taking these two criteria from the characteristic equation. Okay, these are known as Evans condition. These two are known as Evans condition. Okay, and this is the magnitude criteria, and the lower one is the angle criteria. Understood? Now the root locus can be drawn up very quickly by checking the angle criteria at various points of S-plane. So what is the criteria of root locus to draw? That means you have to get these angle criteria. That means the angle, or if you want to draw root locus of anything, the angle of this, that the transfer function, the angle of the transfer function should be equal to plus minus 180 degree. Okay, is there any confusion? Is there any confusion? The last part, what I am just giving an example. Suppose I am having a transfer function GSHS equal to k into s plus b by s into s plus a. Okay, so that means the system, the angle criteria for the root locus for this particular system, we can write it in this way. Angle GSHS, angle of GSHS means S plus B by S plus S into S plus A. Angle of this will be equal to plus minus 180 degree into 2q plus 1. Okay, so this will be the angle criteria. Now, what does this mean? This means tan inverse of B. Sorry, this means you have to put j omega instead of s. So this will be j omega. So omega by B for the up one. For this it will be minus 90 degree, and for this it will be tan inverse of omega by A. This should be satisfy 180 degree 2q plus 1. This is basically the angle criteria that we have to fulfill for the root locus. Okay. So now I am
কিউটা বার করে কি হবে, মানে এখান থেকে তো কিউটা বেরিয়ে যাবে নাকি?
I am writing a generalized expression. Suppose, yes, you can able to, if you want to, for this you have to, yes, you have to write. Now, so if or you can write it as suppose minus, if I take it in a anti-clockwise way, we can write it as minus 180 degree. Yes, very good. So q will be omitted because it is a generalized expression, so it will be, the angle criteria will be like this. That means this is nothing but argument, just like we do in complex system. This is the argument. So the argument you have to, sorry, I have done a mistake. Sorry, I have divided it. It will not be that. It will be tan inverse omega B minus 90 degree minus tan inverse omega by A, because it will be, we know that in case of a angle criteria or argument calculation, we actually able to take the angle in form of plus minus, that is the algebraic summation. So this expression will be equal to minus 180. So the value of omega and B, these values, and omega and A should be such so that it will be equal to minus 180. Otherwise the point will be not on root locus. Understood? The points may exist on S plane, but to be on the root locus you need to maintain this criteria. If this criteria, the angle criteria, is not maintained, that means the point is not on the root locus. Is there any confusion? I guess no. Okay, so thank you all for the class. Okay, now I am